Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQA Nostalgia here, and today is the magical day, the PC day that I've been waiting for 2 weeks. I went to work, and it dragged ass because I knew this was going to be waiting for me when I got home. Now, I'm doing the commentary separate. There's my little kitty over there. She decided she wanted to get in this shot, which, you know what? The internet is cat friendly, so I decided, what the hell? I will put my kitty in the video. If you don't like kitties, you suck. Anyway, I'm obviously laying down the commentary separate because the audio and video quality of this thing that I was using to record with really sucks. And as you can tell, this box is absolutely massive, and I wasn't prepared for that. When I came in the door, I was like, "Whoa, that shit is huge." I've never seen a full-size tower. My computer I thought was big, isn't it? This thing fucking dwarfs it. Absolutely dwarfs it. And this is the motherboard box, I believe. You have to remember I'm kind of a noob at this stuff. So as I opened this, I was like, what the hell's with all this, like, mounting devices and whatnot? So I just kind of tossed that aside. That's my other kitty, Moogles. He's the man. Whenever I open anything in my living room, it's like kitty's day out. They have a blast watching everything. This is the keyboard that came with it, and I read online that this thing was really chintzy and it was a piece of shit, but I'm using it and I don't really see how that is. I noticed right here that the box was kind of tore open a little bit. They kind of manhandled it. They probably opened it just to, like, during like the quality testing assurance or whatever the hell they did to make sure the thing was running properly. But yeah, I busted that out real quick. And like I said, it's a pretty decent keyboard. I thought it would feel really cheap, but it's not. It doesn't feel cheap. It's nice and hefty. It's got the backlit lighting on it, which is really cool. Now, the mouse that came with it is pretty sweet as well. This one feels a little cheap. It's not as hefty as I'd like it to be, but as you can see, it's got the whole lighting thing going on with it too, which is really cool. And once again, this box looks like it was kind of manhandled. It looks like they just kind of ripped everything out of there and then just tossed it back in. I don't know. Maybe they didn't, but maybe the boxing was just shit. But this has more buttons than my other wireless mouse. I prefer a wireless mouse because the way I game on my PC is kind of like a console setup. I've got a recliner and everything, and that's half the reason why I've never hooked up a webcam. Because my TV is literally like 4 feet away from where I'm sitting. I got a big ass 51-inch TV, so I kind of game like a console gamer still, and I use the arm rest as like my mouse pad, and it works. It's actually still accurate. But yeah, I'm about to pull this thing out of here, and I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because it's just just me cutting the box open, trying to pull the damn thing out. So the added benefit of having cardboard boxes that are absolutely massive is your cats get to have fun as well. This is nothing. You should see it on Christmas. It's like cat chaos in here. So I started to open the thing, and at this point, I think just by looking at the box, I figured, well, there's a lot of padding in there, and it really isn't that padded. Come to find out later on, they put like the padding stuff actually inside the case, which made me incredibly nervous to try to remove. And I wanted to just pull this thing out of the box, but there's not a lot of wiggle room there, and I didn't want to jar anything around. So what I decided to do was just to slice open the box, which in retrospect probably wasn't the best idea, because for any given reason, if this had some sort of malfunction or something was wrong with it, shipping it back would have been problematic. Alright, so I skip ahead here. I just wanted to get this damn thing out of there, man. I was super excited at this point, to the point where I didn't even realize that the damn thing was sideways when I set it down and started trying to pull it out of here. Like I said, first gaming rig, and a mixture of excitement. But yeah, I was it's like a kid on Christmas. I don't often spend $1,000 on myself, but when I do, it's a major event. And the thing about when you get a new PC is you just want to plug it in and start playing right away. You want to see what it can do and just how much more it's going to blow away your previous PC, which this thing has absolutely crushed the toaster I had. I'll tell you guys the specs in a little bit, but this is it right here. I know it's kind of hard to see it. You can't really get a very good view on it. The lighting in the room is pretty good, but you know, it's just kind of a dark color. It's not really easy to see. But it's if you haven't seen a full size tower, this video doesn't do it justice. This thing is huge. It literally dwarfs my other PC. And yeah, I did go through CyberPower PC. It's got a lot of USB ports on it. There's, I don't even know, I didn't even count how many. There's way more than I'll ever use. And this is when I realized that they put like an insulator in there so nothing got broken. And I stopped the video because I wanted to pull that shit out of there first. Now, I was going to leave this part of the video out because it's really hard to see, and the only kind of lighting device I had was that piece of crap. Uh, yeah, I had no flashlight, so there's no way to really see inside of this thing the way I wanted you guys to see it. But you can see the graphics card and the power supply. I did get the GTX 960, 750 watt power supply, and basically everything else you really can't make it out very well. It's kind of hard to see, you know, aside from the fan. I'm trying to show you guys where the hard disk drive is, but yeah, you get the idea. You've seen the inside of a PC before. So right now I want to run down the specs because I know people are wondering what is inside this thing. Alright, so the motherboard is an AMD 970 ATX. The CPU is an AMD FX 8350, 4 GHz, 8 core AM3 plus, CPU 8 megabyte, L2 cache, and turbo core technology. I'm just kind of reading this stuff off. Some of the stuff I'm saying probably doesn't need to be said, but you got to keep in mind I'm definitely coming from more of a console background here. So if I sound like a noob, that's because I am. As for the fan, I have the Enermax. You've probably seen that when I had the case open. It's an ETS T40 TB CPU cooler. It's very quiet. It's a 120 millimeter twister bearing fan. It's nice and quiet. When I put my hand back there, I can feel that the air is nice and cool. It's not getting hot in there. And of course, that brings me to the video card, which is the EVGA or the EVGA. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Super clocked NVIDIA GeForce GTX 960 4 gigabyte. It's not the 2 gigabyte standard version, and I guess the super clocked means it's been overclocked at the factory. Now, from what I read about this card, is it's a pretty decent card for the money. You know, I wanted to get the 980, but I don't really have 500 some odd dollars to spend on a card. And at this point, this is doing it. You know, this is gonna get the job done for me. Further down the line, I'll probably get the 980 once it comes down in price, like drastically. And at that point, you know, I'll probably be able to run anything I need to run on, you know, probably max settings. But the 960 is nice, and it's, you know, it's very power efficient from what I read, and it doesn't get too hot. All right, so for the memory, I have a 16 gigabyte, two 8 gigabyte sticks in there, DDR3, dual memory, dual channel memory, and that is Corsair. So I didn't go cheap on that, and that's not bad. That's a decent amount of memory. Anything more than that, I don't think I'll need for quite a while. But there is definitely room to upgrade this thing. As I said, the tower is massive, and when I opened it up, I could see there's plenty of space in there. Now, I didn't spring for the solid state drive. I really wanted to, but that would have pushed the price up a lot more. So I went with the hard disk drive. It's a 1 terabyte Western Digital Caviar Blue SATA 6 gigabytes 7,200 RPM HDD. So yeah, hard disk drive. And you know, that's the load times I've noticed are pretty good on the thing. It's definitely loading a lot faster than my previous toaster. One of the things I did is I threw in an extra $10 just to get like a better thermal paste. I figured that was probably worth it. You don't really want your CPU to get fried or overheated, so I threw that in there. And the operating system, which I did buy it legit. I didn't pirate it or anything. That's probably what bumped up the price of my PC over $1,000, because it was like $100 some odd dollars for it. I got Windows 8, and as many of you probably already know, it's kind of a pain in the ass. I've had some problems with it already. I like the layout of it. It kind of feels like a console or something like that. uh, but it's just there seems to be a lot of glitches with it. When I went to bed, I left this thing on to download my Steam library in World of Warcraft. I came downstairs and evidently it had rebooted. I don't know if I had the power settings. I think the power settings were set to like turn off automatically or reboot. I don't know what the hell happened. I came downstairs, turned on the TV, and it said that it had failed to boot, insert disk, and yada yada yada. So I went into the BIOS and I launched it through there, and I didn't have a problem with it after that. Evidently, there's something I have to do with the BIOS to get it to boot up right. It's not really a big deal. It wasn't a hardware issue. It seems to be a software issue with Windows 8. I was panicking at first. I figured maybe they didn't plug something in right to the hard disk drive, but everything is kosher because the thing it turned on, it started up after I messed with it a little bit. So I want to go through and try to fix that because this thing's been on nonstop. I haven't really had a reason to turn it off because I've been playing it and downloading stuff on it so much. But tonight I plan on turning it off, and when I turn it back on, I'm gonna mess around and see if I can get it to not have to do that every time I do turn it on. I've also had a problem with my previous mouse, my wireless mouse that I wanted to use. Because remember, like I said, I've got kind of like a console setup here, and I like to sit far enough away. And the wireless mouse has a ton of lag in it when you move it around. It just kind of skips around. So I can't use that anymore. I don't know if it's just an incompatibility issue. I don't know. The mouse that came with it works fine, so I'm just kind of sitting closer to the PC than I would like to. It's getting the job done. It is wired. It's not wireless. But yeah, it just seems like Windows 8 kind of sucks. Uh, I get a free upgrade to Windows 10, which is cool. Hopefully that's better. That's supposed to be out in a year or about a year, I heard. So that'll be nice. Okay, so I want to get a little bit gameplay going here. So I decided to fire up World of Warcraft on my toaster on the left and my beast on the right. You can see me lagging already as I'm coming out the door, and the game is just trying to load the outside area. The frames per second, they're atrocious. And this is on the left side, the lowest settings, 800 by 600 resolution. There's no filters turned on. There's no shadows, no reflections. Everything is turned all the way down, bare bones, and it still had problems with FPS. And on the right, you can see it just looks so much better. All the filters are on. The new multi-sampling, anti-aliasing, or whatever the hell it's called, the MSAA, they added to the game recently. That's on, and it just looks great. For an older game, World of Warcraft still looks pretty good when you turn on all the filters. You can see on the left there's no ground clutter at all. it's very bare bones. You can't tell, when you look at the armor, you can't see all the details of like the particle effects coming off of the shoulders. You don't see any of that stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to show off my transmog real quick because I think it looks really, really badass. But yeah, man, night and day, big difference. Alright, so next up I decided to run something a little more modern. I decided to run Firefall, and I literally just did this, and I discovered that even with this computer, Fraps completely fucks up your FPS. I was running the game on ultra high, the highest setting possible with everything turned on, and I was getting about 60 FPS. Sometimes it dropped down to like 55, but it never went down any lower than that. As soon as I turned on Fraps, it was dropping down to like 15 FPS. So I put it on very high settings, and I was getting over 100 FPS. And I hit Fraps, and yeah, it went down to like 30, between 15 and 30 FPS. So you can see it's definitely the frames per second are dropping in the video. I didn't know how bad Fraps was. I just figured, because I used it for the longest time on my previous computer. I just figured my computer sucked. The processor was garbage. It just didn't run well on there. Evidently, Fraps just kills it on everything. It's not very good recording software. So I'm gonna try to look for something else. I don't know if you guys can drop me a comment down in the comment section. Let me know what you use or what you've heard about that works better and doesn't completely destroy your FPS. So this is PlanetSide 2, a game that I was very interested in running because it uses the Forge Light engine that EverQuest Next is going to be using, a modified version of it anyway. EverQuest Next will use, and when I run Fraps, it tends to stay around 30 FPS, only dipping down to about 28. You can see I've got everything turned up pretty much all the way. There might be some filters I can turn on to make it look better, but I put it on. I clicked on the ultra setting, restarted the game, and without Fraps, I was getting between 60 and 75 FPS. So very, very satisfied with this computer. I'm just gonna let that be known right now. I'm very, very happy with it. It's running everything I want it to run. I don't think I'll have to upgrade anything for probably about 4 or 5 years. Like I said, at that point I might throw the 980 in there, maybe upgrade the video RAM or something. I don't know. But before I go ahead and wrap this up, I just want to give a shout out real quick. So this shout out goes out to Sig Earther, who helped me build this thing. He did all the work, pretty much. I can't take any credit at all. I just posted a link on Facebook saying, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to pick up this computer. And he's like, nah, you really don't want that. It's kind of a piece of shit. You can get something better than that. And I hit him up. I sent him a message, you know, what would you build kind of thing. And he came up with some pretty cool stuff. And then he noticed there was a sale going on. And that ended up giving me actually a better build for less money. CyberPower was having a spring sale. So yeah, I mean, I saved a lot of money, and he was able to put everything on a list for them to build for me. You know, I did the math on how much it would cost to do it myself and just order all the parts, and it just wouldn't have been worth it, guys. I mean, I probably would have saved about $100 if I didn't include the operating system. But with the operating system, and then considering the fact that The Witcher 3, a game that's going to be like $65 after taxes, I would have saved about $50 to build it myself, and then I would have had the headache of having to do everything. And you know, I don't want a learning experience to be on a $1,113 PC. You know, but yeah, he helped me out. Sig Earther, mad props, dude. I really appreciate it. Also known as Raminadin from Mars Fist on EQA. Obviously, he's one of my subscribers. That's how he ended up on my Facebook. But yeah, thank you very much, dude. I'm very, very satisfied with this, and it is going to this is going to continue kicking ass for me for years to come. So with that having been said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one.